Why can MBTI not be an effective instrument to measure one's personality? First, the MBTI lacks scientific evidence as well as predictive power as an instrument to measure one's personality. It may be because it fails to capture the developmental aspect of our personality. When MBTI asks what we want, wish, prefer, admire, or are more interested in, the questions do not capture the difference between personality's current versus transitional or developmental phase. For example, Fs strive to be logical and can wish they would be more logical, even if they tend to be emotional. And as we become older and more mature, people with extreme personality features converge to more neutral positions, showing both features of I and E, N and S, T and F, and J and P. Second, the MBTI also cannot explain the personality conflicts behind couples breaking up in relationships, including marriages. In fact, many breakups happen not because one party is more introverted, intuitive, or feeling type than the other. Many couples face conflicts when either party enters a different phase of development during their relationships. We observe this phenomenon in the increase in divorce called twilight divorce when people reach older ages. Third, the MBTI cannot explain various parenting styles associated with the corresponding personality styles of people who use them. There have been several parenting styles used by people, but the MBTI personality cannot explain how the different parenting styles can originate from them. A limitation of MBTI can be demonstrated through the case of INFJs. Experts in MBTI talk about how INFJ personality has two sides, a devil or an angel. This indicates MBTI fails to differentiate these two, for example, between Hitler and Gandhi. Interestingly, in countries that may have diverse personality patterns, the INFJs with a feature of arrested development are much more common and become a topic of heated discussion among online communities. The personality type of INFJ stands for introverted, intuitive, feeling, and judging. Here are some general characteristics of INFJs based on the MBTI. 1. Introverted tends to be introspective and gains energy from spending time alone. They may appear reserved or quiet in social situations. 2. Intuitive Nicholas rely on their intuition and are skilled at seeing patterns and making connections between ideas. This intuitive ability allows them to approach problems and challenges uniquely and creatively, making them great problem solvers through their imagistic/symbolic/integrative ability. 3. Feeling Fs are empathetic and often prioritize the feelings of others over their own. They are compassionate and caring individuals. 4. Judging Js like to plan and organize their world. They often seek a strong sense of purpose and are driven by their values. However, my research found that MBTI does not capture the difference in people across different developmental spectrums. Especially, the INFJ in a lower and higher level of the personality spectrum is not captured by the MBTI test. First, the introverted INFJ in the lower tier arrested by trauma cannot turn into the extroverted due to their social anxiety, but the higher tier INFJ with no trauma or resolved trauma can be introverted by choice. In other words, the higher tier INFJ can be extroverted enough to invest in understanding others' emotions but choose to stay alone to process them. Second, the lower tier INFJ's feelings without verification through logic and reasoning tend to make an instinctual judgment about patterns and connections, making impulsive decisions with an emotional bias. They tend to make hasty decisions in such areas as investment, shopping, or relationships which they may regret later. The lower tier INFJs also tend to make judgments often based on bias, prejudice, and superstition without verifying through reality using all five senses. Because of this tendency, they often become prey to the manipulation of cult groups or gaslighting. Third, the lower tier INFJs might be arrested at their level without developing the ability of mature empathy. The INFJs in the lower rested state will use projective identification as their tool for compassion. They may feel sad or angry and project these emotions onto someone else, seeing that person as the source rather than recognizing their own feelings. In contrast, the higher tier INFJ will use less projective identification due to their level of emotional independence. In other words, the empathetic ability of the lower tier INFJs can be based on naivete, excessive self-sacrifice, and pleasing tendency rather than the wisdom of win-win based on emotional independence. Fourth, in planning their actions, the higher tier INFJs usually make wise decisions based on their balanced and flexible view between logic and emotion with a broader and holistic view of life. However, the lower tier INFJs will have difficulty planning and organizing their actions in an unstructured environment due to their arrestment in their emotional development. They see things in the extreme black and white and may judge people either extremely positively or negatively without seeing the whole picture. In conclusion, the MBTI cannot be an effective instrument to measure personality. It fails to consider the developmental aspect, the causes of breakups, its possible association with parenting styles, and the complexity of human personality. In the next video, we will explore a different personality test, Planet Personality Test, PPTI. Thank you for watching.